Hey, good folks, Dr. Charlie here. Today's topic, this is actually going to be the first part series on astrology. Astrology, I am, first of all, not an astrologer. I have an astrologer that is part of my support team, but I am not an astrologer. For an astrologer, I know relatively little, but for a layperson, I tend to know a lot more than maybe the average person does about astrology. And astrology is one of those things that you can absolutely take or leave whichever pieces of it work for you. I understand astrology relationally, where I know people who have certain characteristics, and then I meet other people who have similar characteristics, and I'm like, hey, you remind me of this person. And then I ask, what's your sign? And if their sign is the same, that goes into my knowledge bank that says, hey, this kind of person, Libras, for instance, they have these certain characteristics. So I am going to break this into 4 parts. I'm going to do it by signs, by element. So I'm going to do earth signs first. This video is going to be about earth signs, and then I'll do others for the other signs as well. Earth signs. The earth signs are Capricorn, Taurus, and Virgo. So I'm Capricorn, so I'll start with Capricorns and sort of some of the things that we tend to have in common. Don't use this, you can use this, but use this as an assistant and not a whole thing, and not the director necessarily. So Capricorns, we tend to be pragmatic, really stubborn. There's a picture of mountain goats on this sheer cliff, and they're holding on by who knows what, but their hooves are in there. And that, I think, is really representative of Capricorns. We also we tend towards pragmatism in solutions. I personally don't understand, if you know that this thing is wrong or off, or some other ways, in some other way not quite right, about it, I don't understand why you don't do anything about it. Because if you know about this thing, then you should be directed towards solutions. So there's a very kind of practical, pragmatic element to Capricorns. We're also really stubborn, like really stubborn. If we have an idea, we're gonna, and this is sort of how it needs to look, we're going to enact that. Now, I would say that many Capricorns are pragmatic enough to say, oh, this particular thing isn't working, let me try something different, but we will still get to our ends. That can show up in not caring about other people's opinions. I would say most Capricorns keep their own counsel. And so we heard you, but it is not necessarily going to factor into the decision that we make. Taurus, so Capricorns are late December and most of January. Tauruses are late April and most of May. Tauruses like to be materially comfortable in a way that other signs don't necessarily, it's not necessarily a shining thing as for other signs as it is with Tauruses. They also tend to be good workers, like they tend to be good at what they do. Capricorns as well, but Tauruses will build up something over time and be really, really good at it. As an earth sign, they do like things kind of like, to get away, they might want to do something that's earth-based as opposed to like water-based, for instance. Tauruses are stubborn in a different way. Taurus's stubbornness is kind of like, I can't even hear you, I'm just doing this thing. That's how I experience it. Anyway, again, materially comfortable for Tauruses. Their stubbornness also helps them clash with people. And what else about Tauruses? Food. Tauruses like to eat. Like, Tauruses like good food as well. Virgo is going to be late August and much of September. So Virgos, their overwhelming trait is often a sense of perfectionism, and that is great on one hand and terrible and very hard to get around on another hand. So Virgos tend, they have a very specific way to do it. They don't necessarily articulate that way to other people, but they understand it in their head, and they'll come into a situation and they're like, oh, this is what needs to happen and this is how it needs to look. Again, without verbalizing that to others, it comes to a point of frustration when when someone else doesn't do something that they didn't know the Virgo wanted them to do. Virgos also like to have fun, I would say. Virgos know how to have a good time, particularly among the earth signs. Virgos, I would say, they do have this sense of perfectionism, and they do enjoy having fun. Often with others, I would say Virgos and Tauruses are a little more social than most Capricorns are, as far as connecting with other people in that regard. What else about Virgos? That's really all that's coming to mind. All right, so these are the earth signs. This is the first in the series of 4. I will talk about the other sets of signs in different videos. All right, y'all, take great care and enjoy the rest of your day. Peace.